happened, it took 6 days before FEMA even had boots on the ground. And then they show up and they start confiscating supplies and saying that it's not FEMA approved. So, it's an absolute atrocity, and the media is not covering any of it. It's essentially a 9/11 that happened in our backyard. But where's the candlelight vigils across the country for these 500 children that are potentially dead? It's just shocking. One thing that I really found disturbing was, if you're looking at Front Street and all of these cars that are incinerated, you'll notice that none of the doors are open on one vehicle. Which is a really interesting point because they are finding people burned inside of the cars and none of the doors are open. And, you should have enough time to exit a burning vehicle. There's no reason that you couldn't have been able to get out of your car unless were they experiencing an EMP attack? Was there a reason that the doors and the windows couldn't open? I think that there's a lot bigger questions, and I think that that's why they are keeping people out of the disaster zone, just like 9/11. They don't want people to see the evidence. And we even had our police chief say that this was a fire that melted through metal. And if that doesn't give you 9/11 vibes, I don't know what does. And we do see characters that have been played out in other massacres. Our Maui police chief was the same police chief during the Las Vegas shootings. So there's also players in this scenario that have been involved in other tragedies, and I think that's something that should be brought up. But Hawaii was prepared for this. They wildfires are not an uncommon occurrence. We have an abundance of dry brush and a lack of maintenance from the state. And, they've met during the council on several different occasions in 2014 and 2018. There's on the record of emergency management preparation specifically for wildfires, and they never followed one of the protocols. And so, I believe that all of these, signs point to something that's very nefarious.
A tenet of journalism is supposed to examine conflicts of interests and motivations. So why are none of our NBC or ABC or CNN reporters talking about or asking about, like, hey, this seems really quick for there to be people offering to buy up this land. Hey, this is weird timing since it's my understanding that they were already trying to get access, the government, to this land, and it was being rejected. And then, oh, well, what do you know? We have a natural disaster. Can you tell me anything about that background further? Do you know anything about that, or at least the offers to purchase this land?
Absolutely. I mean, Lahaina is one of the most historical places in all of Hawaii. It actually was the home to the Royal Hawaiians originally. It was home to all of the natural fish ponds, and it actually used to be considered the wetlands. And, since colonization, they diverted the waterways. Hawaii, Lahaina side turned, very dry. But this specific piece of land is, thousands of years old. The buildings on Front Street had been there for over 200 years, and they were all protected by historical laws. And, now that they're destroyed, what does that mean for these buildings? Are they still protected under the same, guarantee? And then, also on the same hand, city code says that we'll never be able to build that close to the water again. But what we're finding is that citizens or homeowners that had their property destroyed, they're already having their insurance claims denied because they're being told that their homes weren't within city code. And how could you maintain insurance to begin with if you were not within code? So I think that says something very that's very suspicious. Also in Hawaii, the 5th and the 14th constitutional amendments, they say that Hawaii does have the right to confiscate land if it's deemed uninhabitable. So FEMA right now is going through, and they can say, that these parcels are no longer, suitable for human life, and Hawaii can, confiscate that land, and they do have the right to do that, which is which is frightening. And, so we do implore people to not sign anything from FEMA. When we see the check come from Biden for $700, this also could be considered just compensation for your piece of property. So this is also something you should be aware of. Is the government actually paying you right now for your property that they're about to seize? And so, I do implore everyone to go check out the Maui Legal Preservation Fund.org. This was actually set up by attorney Mike Yoder, who we are very familiar with in our medical freedom community. He's obviously been instrumental in overturning vax mandates. And he is setting up legal aid to help Maui landowners. So if you are in need, or if you know somebody who needs legal assistance, he is going to be fighting for the island. So that is a silver lining, is that at least the people that need help are hopefully going to get it before, the government tries to come in and take it. So, probably just my last final word is just, thank you for using your voice and speaking truth. And if you have something that you want to say about this movement, don't be afraid to say it. The water is warm, and we need more people using their voice and being courageous and saying what they feel and what they see with their own eyes. Because without that, we're going to let them take the narrative and move it into whatever story they want it to be. So we are the counter narrative, and it's really our job as citizens of the world and as Americans to do that. And so just speak up and use your voice, and send lots of prayers to Maui.